welcome to episode 125 pre-show. This is going to be Stranded Exotics. We got a good dev insights with a lot of changes to exotics and Strand, and then into a TWID that has some more exotic stuff moving forward and some weapons to go chase if you didn't get them all done in the past seasons. Now, for gameplay this week, it might as well beat 0 because I was talking to Chad and I was like, man, when I turned on the PC today, I was like, I can't remember the last time I had it turned on because I can't remember if I logged back on after the podcast to do anything on my computer. So
I will say I was checking it out last night or the night before, and Jared was like 5 days without logging in, on Steam. So I was about to send him a text message asking him if he was still around, but
yeah, I just been just watching some shows. So last Sunday we binge watched the Quarterbacks show on Netflix.
yeah, how was that? I watched the first episode.
It's good. It actually makes you like Kirk Cousins. So
I doubt it.
Well, you might be surprised. And then, it just makes me know that it was all scripted for the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. The fact that Patrick Mahomes was in this documentary. So
Yeah. Are you saying that you didn't like that? What?
Dude, the Kirk Cousins stuff was pretty good, I have to say, in the show.
Yeah.
And especially if you're Midwest, grew up in the Midwest, I think there's a reason you're like Kirk Cousins. But
Are you saying because he's white? Is that what that means?
Nope. I think about the way he likes to live life.
Okay.
Big family man, But yeah, it's good. He's good.
So Patrick Mahomes is not a family man.
I wouldn't say that. Would not say that. But I think Kirk Cousins is
how much Patrick Mahomes' wife is there?
There's a lot.
How much Jackson Mahomes is there?
He's a lot in the background. He is there a lot, but not one word is said between. He's not on there. He does not say one word. Because we watched it with closed captions, and he
Yes.
never. I don't think he ever had a line in it at all.
So you watched it with volume and closed caption, not
Yeah.
just closed caption. Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
making sure you didn't have it muted and you were just reading it.
No.
I am also I'm also a closed caption guy on shows because sometimes I miss stuff in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad uses our logins for stuff or whatever
Yeah.
and despises closed captioning. So anything that he's been on, I can tell because he's turned them off.
Yeah.
And I have to go back in and turn them all back on.
It started with Game of Thrones. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Like some of those voices, it was hard to hear. So that's what we did. Started with that, and now it's on. Like with closed captions are not on, my wife's like, I can't hear unless I see it. So
Yeah.
yeah. I got into Righteous Gemstones on HBO, and then Winning Time's coming back on HBO. So
I wonder how much different Jerry West will be in this season. They caught a lot of grief because of how over-exaggerated his character was in the first season.
yeah. So my wife just put a comment in chat, and this was a quote from me while we was watching the show. I was like, if I had to sit in nosebleed seats or in a suite next to Brittany Mahomes, I would be sitting in the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man, she's a lot. I mean, I'm sure she's probably nice enough, but she is a lot.
Yeah, she's probably a really nice person, but I'll be interested to see if they get any other quarterbacks for next season. Who they get? The Marcus Mariota stuff was interesting. You started out really liking him, and then they kind of just, whenever he kind of got benched and all that stuff, it just really just falls off a cliff talking to him at all. And then all of a sudden he'll pop back up later on. But
I mean, so Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. That'd probably be like the next 3 they would want. Maybe
no, I
because
don't
Herbert
think
won't
so.
do it.
I don't think so. I think they want like a top tier, a mid tier, and a low tier quarterback. I don't think Joe Burrow would do it. I think Josh Allen would. And then you go mid tier quarterback. You could almost, like
Dakota Rain Prescott.
he is a mid tier quarterback, but he would be treated as a tier 1 quarterback in the show.
Yeah. Well, they say he's Black Kirk Cousins.
Okay. I don't feel comfortable with either one. I'm trying to run a game winning drive.
That's the thing. Like, there's no difference in him, but Dak.
That plays for the Cowboys.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Johnny Manziel documentary?
Haven't watched that yet. Yeah.
Loved it. He's a fucking G, dude.
I remember when we was watching that Texas A&M and Bama game together at Jake's house, and like the loser had to go buy somebody a can of snuff. And like,
is that what it was?
Yeah. And like Jake, whoever jumped out early, I forget who like had the winning team out early.
A&M went up like 20-0 in that game.
Yeah, and that's who Jake had. He's like, I'm gonna go make you buy me a can of Skullberry or something like that.
I gotta see Jake last Friday or Saturday.
Oh, nice.
I was at cousin Cody's and he showed up with his wife. It was good. It was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
His wife, I think I sculled like 15 or 16 beers and like, I don't know, like 2.5 hours. And she was very much hadn't seen a performance like that in a while, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Chad, anything going on with you? Non-Destiny related?
No. Mm-mm.
Played any good? You and your roommates, you guys do like tabletop games and stuff, some, right?
Yeah, they've been sick over the last couple of weeks, so none of that stuff's been going on. And I'm like, well, this is the slow time, so too bad for them, because come August 22nd, I'm not gaming with them again for a month.
I'm doing a half day. August 22nd, so I'll be at home by noon to watch the premiere, then start to play the season.
I thought it was like is it noon or?
It's 9 a.m. my time, so it's noon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'll be 2.5 hours into my day. I think that day.
You working that day?
Normal shift. One of my coworkers decided he wants a vacation that week, and I'm like, well, cool.
Yeah.
You got to save yours for February, dog.
Yeah.
Wait, are you taking that Saturday
Yeah, Fred's
off
like, you can.
for the raid?
I can't take Saturdays.
Okay.
No matter what Fred says.
No matter what Fred says,
Is it the
is
second
it-
Saturday?
doesn't Fred get to
No, because
decide if you?
it'd be
he kind of does, but not really.
It'd be September 2nd.
Gotcha.
September 2nd.
But the problem is,
Ugh.
does Fred have to cover for you?
Exactly, he would have to
Oh
cover.
my gosh, y'all gotta hire somebody
Mm.
else.
Here's a question:
Well, we do hire people, but not for my position.
Does the
'Cause
first of the
it's me and
month
one
have
guy.
anything? Is that like a big thing where you are? I'm guessing not.
The first of the month? No,
Just based upon the way you said that, I know that it's not.
no. It's always for any kind of sales oriented business. It's the end of the month, always.
Okay.
Complete opposite.
Unless, yeah. Here by the 5th, everybody's out of money, so you gotta get those sales in early. Here, so you get the 1st and the 3rd. Those are the big days. You do not go to grocery stores. You do not get out in public on those days here.
As that year when I stocked shelves for Pepsi, it was the worst time at the start of the month.
Yeah.
You fill up all the 2 liters, then people come through, fill up 2 shopping carts full of 2 liters. Dude, when they went on sale for $1 a piece, you just couldn't even keep them out there.
Just wheel the pallet out.
You just put it on the ground and let the vultures get at it.
This one dude's like, I might as well just pull up the truck up to the back dock because I'm taking
might as well just pull the truck up because all the Mountain Dews are mine.
Yep.
I want all the Mountain Dews, and I want you to be sure that you heard me correctly. I don't want a lot of Mountain Dew. I want all of the Mountain
Pulling a Ron
Dew.
Swanson.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna repeat myself because I fear you may have misheard me, son.
Then sometimes they got tired of walking in the store, so the pop usually gets about seat level. And they just sit down on top of the pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. You stack up 2 of those 24s, it makes a decent seat.
The pros, they take 4 and make a throne more than a seat. Gotta get started.
All right.
Everybody have squiggles.
Probably.
Squiggle. Oh shit! Do I have
Yeah.
squiggle? There it is.
Yeah.
If you guys hear
Yep.
just
Yep.
absolute cackling in the background, full disclosure, it's my wife watching Kevin Hart videos on YouTube.
I mean, nothing yet. So
Clicking the button. Eyes up, Guardians. We are live for episode 125 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is August the 10th, and I, the Destiny bad boy, NotRyanFox, have returned with my fire team, who all of you CCBs know by now. Jared?
Hey, everyone. Yeah, we got some ability tuning, which is mainly strand, some exotic armor changes, and then also the exotic weekly rotator that's coming next season to help you get some loot you might have missed in the past or new roles to go chase and to craft.
And the chronicler himself, chadocero.
as long as things go well, we should finish off the lore this time, this week, and then we'll figure out what we're doing next week.
And as a reminder, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. And if you can watch like half and then you want to pick up the other half later, don't forget you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, click the bell, turn on notifications, yada, yada, yada. Follow us on Twitter at Destiny CC Pod. Send us Bungie friend requests so we can play games together. We have a Discord server. We'd like to get a little more active in there. We did have a few different official Bungie communications this week. But before we get into that, let's listen to the intro music, which is brought to you by everybody's favorite Link, who you can find on Twitter at LinkOfTimeG.
This is where we will spice in the episode, putting in the music, and about to go back live.
What was the time, Jared? Or Ryan? Which one of you?
It is 1:34, the time.
Yep. Wait.
All right. Everybody's good.
Squiggle. Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, Link. Fantastic job, my friend. Jared, you want to get us going?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and dive into these dev insights. So, we're going to be changing some exotics and some strand tuning, and also kind of like the kings of PvP right now, Titans are actually getting hit pretty hard here, which might spark some additional discussion. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about some hunter exotics. So Knucklehead Radar, it's going to keep its original functionality, and then also all the additions that Foe Tracer exotic used to have is going to be put onto it. So they took 2 exotics that were just absolute, nobody used, bottom of the barrel, and probably made a decent exotic out of it. So you'll be able to aim down sights, keep your radar up. Foe Tracer help you kind of predict what people's coming around corners, and also do a little bit extra damage towards the end of their life. So a good change there overall. Foe Tracer, it's got completely reworked. So Bungie took notes from Monochromatic Maestro, so it's whenever you damage a target with a weapon or ability of the same as matching your subclass, you end up doing extra damage for when you take them out using an ability or a weapon of the same subclass. So basically, Monochromatic builds with Foe Tracer is good, do extra damage, and then also you have a chance to create automatic traces or fire sprites given your subclass, and that's also for the void, strand, and stasis at the same time. So all of those you'll be able to create and pick those up. So fire sprites, I like building into those because you can give yourself restoration. So I think there's going to be some play to this coming to PvE. Lucky Raspberry, it's kind of been a lackluster exotic ever since it originally came out. But that arc bolt grenade still doesn't hit quite as good as what it's likely to now. So now it's going to jolt targets, and then every time like it chains, it's going to give you more grenade energy. And then also collecting an ionic trace will grant you more grenade energy. And then thirdly, that grenade, arc bolt grenade, automatically will stun overload champions. So just giving that an extra bump there in PvE. I guess they didn't want to make this exotic too good, because if they gave somebody just 2 arc bolt grenades for this exotic, I think it would be more popular than what has been in the past. Overall, good change here. Renewal Grasps, they have undone the previous nerf to Dustfield grenade cooldowns when using this exotic. Hooray, finally. Man, this exotic, when it came out, it was great. If I used it, unfortunately, it was getting used in trials and in PvE, so they had to nerf it into the ground. So now you'll be able to get that grenade back up all the time, and then you'll get, I think, about a 5% damage reduction in PvP when you're in the dust field with you and your teammates. So it shouldn't be too overpowered in PvP, but definitely good in some situations for PvE. So Chad, the Titans here is about we got some exotic changes if you got that ready to go.
Oh yeah, a couple of good ones right here. So first off, they're talking about in general: Icefall Mantle, Doomfang, Pauldrons, Path of Burning Steps, and Eternal Warrior. Season 21 did some changes for Eternal Warrior and Path of Burning Steps, but they added an escalating damage bonus on arc and solar weapons respectively when you get kills with those damage types. So essentially they had built-in surges on them. Now, they like that they gave players a way to get the surge bonuses without having to also equip the bonuses. But Eternal Warrior seemed to have the most reliable way to get up to tier 4 damage. They made some further changes to those perks with a little bit more reliable while expanding the functionality of the other two. So essentially, it seems like their Icefall Mantle is going to have the Stasis Surge, Doomfang is going to have the Void Surge, and they're going to kind of equalize them all out so that they liked what they did with Eternal Warrior, and I think they're going to bring them all about to the same level, which is going to be neat. That means that your boots are no longer going to need 3 surges if you're trying to max damage. You can use them for other things like a scavenger or something. That way you don't have to run double special if you want a massive amount of heavy ammo everywhere. Now, Icefall Mantle has another change. It grants an escalating bonus. So it grants an escalating bonus to stasis damage when getting rapid stasis kills. When you activate your class ability, you immediately gain the highest tier bonus. So on class, you just surges activate. Now, Doomfangs, same thing for Void. When you get a Void melee kill, you immediately get the highest damage bonus. So obviously based off of their perks, what they do, class gives you stasis surge, and just a melee kill gives you maximum void surge. So just like what warlocks used to do with wells, you save an ad for damage phase, you punch it, and then you just go to town with your gun. Path of Burning Steps, getting a solar grenade kill now grants the highest tier solar damage. Eternal Warrior, since the exotic only grants highest tier damage bonus automatically when super ends, the duration of the arc weapon damage bonus when your Fist of Havoc super ends has been extended to 30 seconds, up from 10 seconds in Season 21. So they're making all those damage bonuses easier to get, and they're adding it to the 2 that we talked about earlier. Now the Feedback Fence. This exotic got a complete mechanical rework and now ties into the armor charge system, increasing its versatility and making it more useful in scenarios where you might not be taking a lot of melee damage. With the new perk, which completely replaces the old one, when melee hits give you an armor charge, you take reduced melee damage when you have that armor charge. Taking melee damage causes you to emit a burst of damaging arc energy that jolts targets, consuming your armor charge and dealing more damage based on the number of stacks consumed. Note that the damage dealt by the burst of arc energy should be comparable to its current damage for 0 to 3 stacks of armor charge. Now, that jolt on it is a keyword. That's a verb. That'll give us some stunnage from when you get melee hit by something. But jolting everything around you when you get melee hit, that'll take care of a lot of red bars, and just it'll be a lot of fun to just go to town on some stuff.
Do you think it's going to be popular with swords?
It could be. I mean, because you're whacking at stuff, and if stuff comes up from behind you and whacks you, then you just deal a burst of AoE damage. Mm-hmm. Be fun, yeah. I mean, I still like my strongholds, but it's kind of a similar thing. Strongholds just make you super defensive, while Feedback Fence attacks back. So, you know, it definitely could use it for the same thing. Now, Hollow Fireheart. This exotic often stands in the shadow of Heart of Immos Light. To remedy that, we've removed its base energy to solar abilities and replaced it with a perk that will let you build more into sunspots. We think you'll be seeing more sunspots on the battlefield as a result. As for the perk that greatly increases your ability regenerate when your super is fully charged, we left that as is. So apparently they made a change to, instead of the solar ability thing, it's creating sunspots somehow. So we'll have to see what exactly the perk changes are that does that. But I mean, I have a Hollow Fireheart in the vault. If I could dust it off and just try it and do some stuff. I mean, sunspots are fun. When you got a lot of red bars in non-GM activities, they can take care of some stuff. So we'll see how that one goes. We'll see if anything really major changes there. But I'm excited. The feedback fence one was fun. The jolting is fun, so I like feedback fence. So any excuse to use it again is great by me.
Do you think that's the
I
one
always
you would use if you're going to use one of these changes?
I mean, I wouldn't use it for like a GM. I would use it more for
Yeah.
fun and just to have a fun time. Maybe build into it jolting stuff because that'll create ionic traces, and then you can pick up the traces and just ability spam stuff and just have a fun time.
I always thought Hallowfire Heart had one of the cooler ornaments.
Yeah, which one are you talking about? You talking about the magma or the jet engine one?
That magma one.
Yep.
Like in the chest piece and stuff.
So I kind of think that Ice Swap Metal might be a hot swap for DPS phases. So like you can swap to it and you activate your class ability
with the new rocket.
and then your stasis, your stasis rocket or whatever it is doing 25% damage automatically, and then you're probably in a well at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that takes us to the Warlock exotics. Here we had edited in after the fact about the Astrocyte verse. They added 2 more pieces of functionality to the exotic. Enemies near you when you blink become volatile. Additionally, when you're using Nova Warp Super, the Dark Blink ability no longer consumes super energy. So, could be interesting, I guess. Geomags, often heard the call from players to restore the perk that lets you top off your super by sprinting, which was like at 85% or something. You could, if you could sprint into a wall or whatever, and it would top your super off pretty quick. The legacy of that incentive still creates some pretty silly play patterns. They wanted to give a new way to get more super energy. So essentially now the ionic traces are going to grant you additional super energy when you have Geomags equipped. Wings of Sacred Dawn, one of the cooler looking exotics, but pointless at this point, at least for majority of playstyles. They wanted to lean into the orbital weapons platform fantasy. So give players a way to stay aloft longer, especially in target-rich PvE environments. Reloading was the main cause for the float to end. The exotic now automatically reloads solar weapons, including the weapon you are holding from reserves each time you get a kill while aiming down sights. Try this one out with Xenophage. The bad part of that would be there wouldn't really be a way to use that for a boss because you're going to be like standing above the well and stuff, right?
Yeah,
So I guess
I think you can still be in the air above the well and it still gets you.
yeah, or if you could elevate the well and then like on a platform and then jump from beside it. I don't know. There's probably a way to do it, but last but not least, Winter's Guile. Due to the nature of the Stasis Warlock's melee ability, the exotic was previously a disappointing choice for the subclass. They added a new perk specifically when you're playing Stasis. Combatants encased by your Penumbral Blast melee will automatically shatter after a short delay. So probably one of those things, if you're just speedrunning strikes, could be pretty handy. Like on the days like where your melee builds faster and all that stuff, you could probably do some pretty silly things, I'd guess, with that.
So that's it for the exotic armor rework. So do you see any of these becoming part of the meta next season? Or is it still going to be like Titan Syntheseps or like Acura Warwick for DPS? Like, and then Hunters, it's the boots that give you extra super damage in PvE.
Frosties?
About
No.
Lucky Pants.
Oh, Star Eaters.
Star Eater, that's it. Star Eater scales. Warlocks, it's gonna be like what you been doing with Warlocks, Fox?
Hard stuff, Phoenix Protocol, just to keep a well more often. Anything that doesn't matter, just honestly, there's not anything that's OP at the moment for Warlocks. Unless there's something super niche that you absolutely build into and can use it for a very specific use case. There's nothing that's just completely overpowered. All
right, so now it's going to be some ability tuning. So in general, this is what they're looking at. They want to reduce the uptime and potency of barricade abilities in high-level PvP, reduce the potency of Striker Titan in high-level PvP activities, both in neutral game and when supers come up. Correct the one-size-fit-all nature of Suspend and Combat Sandbox. And rebalance our Strand Fragments suit to bring up the underperforming options and normalize the potency of overperformers. So that's where the frame of mind is going into these changes. So first up here is the barricades for Titans. Towering barricade, the big one. Its base cooldown is increasing from 48 seconds to 70 seconds. And then the maximum health is reduced from 600 to 500. However, it will have a damage resistance versus PvE combatants increase to compensate for that health decrease. I mean, this is a pure PvP change that's hurting PvE. I feel like it's been a while since Bungie has put out one of these that has really hit PvE because of PvP. And I feel like this one sparked some hate on the X.
Don't talk like that.
So, Chad, I mean, this one hurts overall, right? But are you even running big barricade? It's most of the time a small one, right?
I see. Here's the thing: when I go into PvP to do stuff into game, I pop up a barricade and I'm like, I still have the small one because I'm a PvE player. I haven't changed it, and I'm like, how many more games am I playing? 2. I'm not changing it. I just stopped using it. I'm not playing competitively. If I played competitively, I would definitely have it locked and loaded, ready to go. I would have a PvP loadout in the loadout system that has it already set up that way. But I don't. So I usually cast my barricade. Oh, no, I need cover. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't stand. I have to crouch behind it because I forget. But if I was more of a competitive player like I was back in my really back in my Reach days is when I really played competitively, I would be furious. Understanding, because it's like, yeah, I get it. It's an oppressive defense that you can't really do anything besides either wait for it to run out, shoot it down, or try to go at another angle. It just completely shuts down a lane. So having a barricade, I mean, it's a huge increase. So it's like, that's savage. But, I mean, it's understandable. It makes sense. It does a lot. Just one barricade does a lot to change the way the game plays immediately. Just one big barricade, and then all of a sudden that lane, they're like, well, I gotta go run down this other lane unless my boy's got a fusion rifle to lay into that thing, but then he's out in the open, and so we might lose a guy because he's trying to take down the shield. It's, yeah. I don't like him when I'm going against him, so I get it. Now, seeing the way that they tried to balance it for PvE is like, okay. As long as it feels the same, it's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
But it is good that they definitely looks like they 100% targeted it towards PvP, but the health change wasn't something that they could really do one side or the other, so they just made it have higher defense in PvE. So, okay. And as far as the cooldown time for Thunder Crash, I'm not good at using it roaming, so I don't mind either way.
Yeah, it's increasing from
I've tried.
500.
I just need to practice it more.
Yeah, 500, 556.
Yes, it's an extra minute.
I think that's because of the sticks over M&K.
Yeah. But I'm good on the sticks. I've done it a couple times before. I just need to practice it more is all. But like watching the plays where people just like fly by and pat a dude on the head and he dies and then just keep going cracks me up every time. And I'm like, that's wild that people practice that just to do that in particular. So, I mean, cool. I can't do it. So again, it doesn't really impact me much. And I don't, again, like I said, I don't play competitively, which is why I'm not good at it. So it doesn't make me feel bad one way or the other.
Knockout.
But that reduced knockout damage that's needed.
Yeah, it's going down
that's needed.
from 50 bonus to 30. I imagine pairing that with Syntheseps could let you one-shot people with a melee. So
oppressive. Absolutely oppressive.
Now we're getting into some strand changes. Man, strand's pretty good, especially with suspend. So they're hitting that pretty hard here. So suspend, they reduce the base suspend duration versus non-champion PvE combatants from 8 seconds to 5 seconds. Thread of continuity now expands the duration to 7 seconds. So it's 2 extra, and that is down from the 12 seconds. So usually you run those together when you're going into spin build. So 7 seconds is still pretty good for red bars. Now the duration for champions is going down from 8 to 3 seconds stock, and then 4 seconds with the thread. So that one hurts a bit, but it kind of brings it more in line with stasis and then like how long freeze lasts for champions. And they increase the snap damage dealt to suspended boss combatants by 67%. So that's good. Just a little extra, almost like an ignition burst there. Thread of the Mind reduced class energy gained based on the tier of defeated combatants. So that's whenever they're suspended, you get class ability back. So minors goes from 15 to 10, majors from 25 to 15. Bosses, champions, mini bosses from 50 to 25. Thread of Generation reduced the overall energy gain per a PvE enemy by about 20% and rebalance the energy gained multiplier across primary weapon archetypes. This is whenever you get your grenade back, right? So basically that's been used, a lot, I guess, since it came out. So they want people to use these other ones. And to get people to use some of these other fragments, threadlings are getting a buff too. They increase the damage to PvE combatants by 30%. Tangles reduce tangle creation cooldown from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. And then sever combatants affected by sever now reduce their outgoing damage by 40%, and that is up from 30%. So I didn't know that was actually a part of sever, so that's it's interesting. So I guess if you sever a boss should do less damage to you. So it might come in handy some of these day ones. Silk Strike. If you don't know what Silk Strike is, that's because you rarely see it, because that is a Strand Hunter Super, which is absolute crap in PvP. So they increased the damage resistance from 40% to 45%. I've tried using this thing in PvP, and I just get melted every single time. When you pop out Super, and it puts off that sound, everybody just like knows exactly where you're at. You try to grapple around the corner, no, you still get lit up. It just doesn't work. So maybe this helps. They also reduced the suppression time between Silk Strike super air attacks, and they reduce the vertical lift provided by Silk Strike heavy attack in the air to reduce how many times you can easily miss the primary target, which that's also something I was not a fan of. You just try to spam that heavy attack and they're just like gliding off the floor and you're missing the target. So I'm glad that's changing. All right, I think this is a Warlock change, or is this Titan change? This Threaded Spender. Increase the Threaded Spender lifetime from 10 seconds to 12 seconds. Well, that's the Hunter cooldown, right? Yeah. All right, and then the Spectre Health versus PvE combatants. It's an increase, and then it's also now longer. It takes longer to detect to nearby PvE combatants at the beginning of its lifetime. It's just going to work in PvE better. Now we have a Warlock, the Wanderer. Fox, what's going on with that?
Destroying a tango now creates a delayed suspending detonation. Increase suspend detonation radius from 6 meters to 7 meters against PvE combatants. Increased thrown wonder tangle detonation damage to match standard tangle detonations. So a lot of a lot of tangle talking here, right here. So honestly, I don't mess much with the tangles. I don't really. The other day we were running a raid and I was trying to pick up the relic and use the grab button and took off running and realized I had a tangle and not the relic and had to run back, and there's a whole thing there at the vault encounter on Last Wish. Next was grapple. Grapple melee always takes priority when active regardless of whether or not a target is within range. Did you guys have a lot of trouble with that when it came to grappling?
Only time is when I try to grapple to something else really close by, and there's an enemy in between. That's the only time I've ever didn't get the
Not that
melee
I can
off.
recall.
Yeah, me neither. I thought it might be a hunter thing because I remember playing hunter, so it feels like a lot of times your melee would suck you into close stuff by. And then here we got the thread of propagation now grants plus 10 strength. Thread of continuity no longer grants plus 10 strength. Thread of wisdom no longer requires a precision kill to activate. Thread of isolation reduced the number of precision hits required to activate by an average of about 30%. A little different per weapon archetype, but the average is about 30. And the thread of rebirth, the number of created threadlings now increases based upon the tier of the defeated target. Red bar is 1, looks like yellow bar is 2, and then orange and champions or mini bosses you get 3. So that could be something that maybe had to take a second look through there at your build and take a look and see if you need to switch anything around there perhaps.
All right, so that is it for the dev insights. So they do go back into dev sites again in the TWID, but we're going to pass over that. So the TWID. It starts out with a thank you. A thank you to Commander Zavala and the voice actor Lance Reddick for how long he was the VA for Zavala. Just an iconic voice. You can see him in other shows and movies. You're like, I know that voice. That's Zavala. Again, he passed away. So they announced they are moving forward with another VA for Zavala, and because his story in game is not done yet. So it's going to be Keith David. Whenever I was like, I don't remember the name, but once I looked at the actor, I was like, oh, I know exactly who that is. And I started looking through his IMDb report, and he was the general on Armageddon. That's probably what I know him most from. And I could not believe that Armageddon had a 6.7 on IMDb, which is shameful. So, great.
Make you want to close your eyes and fall asleep.
Yeah, but I don't want to miss a thing. So, great VA moving forward. He was also in Halo as the Arbiter.
Oh, so did he give us a wort?
Wort. I did reach out via Twitter and ask him if he wanted to come on and discuss. So don't expect anything back, but you never know. Sometimes you just gotta shoot your shot, you know?
Yep.
So the question is, first of all, let's just go to imagination land and assume that he comes on the show. Do we ask him about stepping into a war with the Cabal on Mars? Or does that never, ever, ever get brought up as a reverence thing?
I would prefer to leave that. Even though I guarantee there's some people in the community that would really like that. I think you just leave that to the Lance.
Okay. So I shouldn't look on Cameo to see if he's on there and ask him to say it?
No. Because I think Zavala's going to have a line coming up in these next few seasons or expansion that gets Keith David's name out there as a quote like that. So
Okay.
now, if you got him to say like "Eyes up, Guardian," I think that's a good one, a good line for him to say.
What are the other big Zavala lines?
Indeed.
Indeed.
Man. Hello, Guardian. That's what he says when you always getting those bounties, you know.
Yeah. Do you think how strange is it going to be seeing that blue mouth move and a different voice coming out of it at first?
Yeah, well, I guess like they'll leave the lines in for like just the general tower stuff. I'm not going to have him redo those. So that first cutscene, it's gonna hit you in the feels. That's definitely gonna feel weird.
It's definitely gonna be odd. Because he has such a particular voice as well, just like Lance did. So you can't really ask him to do not his voice. Because what they've done in the past, obviously, is had amazing voice actors, like absolutely A+, like beyond perfect level voice actors who get so close to the original that if you're not paying attention, you're just hearing Ikora, you're just hearing Cade, and you're like, these were the original actors, right? It's like, nah, dude, they're good. Like some really amazing voice acting done by these people that have replaced the others. But this is one of those ones where it's like, well, no, his voice is great too. It's gonna be weird for like an entire season for me, just hearing not the original Zavala. It's gonna be cool because I really like his voice. His voice is great. And if you played Mass Effect, which is where I immediately recognized him from, you hear that voice a lot in there. So he has a really nice voice. It's really great. So like I just sat there at work today picturing like Zavala saying the things that I'm like listening to on YouTube, and I'm like, they don't make sense with the story, but the voice, I can make it fit. But it's going to be weird for a little bit.
Do you think they should re-record all the lines?
I think they said like, what was it? They said that story stuff and other things weren't going to be re-recorded.
Oh yeah. They said they're not, but I'm just saying, do you think they should?
No, absolutely not.
I don't think so either.
Because they did it before. That's why. But
yeah.
my boy.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
This case is a little bit different though. So
yeah, what was the deal? What was like the official reason for Peter Dinklage not coming in? He was like recording Thrones or something, right?
I
like there wasn't like a big scandal or fallout
I didn't
or
look
anything.
into that.
I just thought he just.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Okay. All right.
Exotic mission rotator. It's on its way, and it's going to be here next season. So, with that, it's going to be some changes. So that if an exotic weapon returns in that mission, it's going to be craftable, and there's going to be also legendary weapons to also go after at the same time for those. So, first mission, Presage, one of the better exotic missions that we've had since. Since the Whisper days. So, Dead Man's Tale. It's going to have new roles, and it's going to become craftable. So, you want to basically get a legendary clear of the week, and then get maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 legendary clears of that week, because it gets you catalysts and a different additional currency to put on your crafted Dead Man's Tale. So, that's kind of a reason for people that already have DMT. They go in there and grind out these missions. Now, Besides DMT, you're also going to have some weapons to go after. So you're going to have the Season of the Haunted weapons. So that's Nasorax, Whisper, Bump in the Night, Tears of Contrition, Hollow Denial, Firefight, and Without Remorse. And then additionally, you'll get the opulent weapons, Austringer, Drang, Beloved, Callous Military Tool, and the Eidolian Pursuant.
Eidolon, I think.
Eidolon? Okay. An armor set.
I see that. I see that in Final Fantasy.
Okay.
That was word in there. So out of those weapons, Bump in the Night is probably the one that I've used the most. Jared, yours is probably what, Hollow Denial?
Yes. Yep.
And Austringer, pretty beast in PvP. Callous Mini Tool. I have that one ranked up pretty high. I can finally get my Beloved and my Without Remorse that I'm missing. So those are the only ones that I don't have like in the vault ready to use the resonance on. So pretty excited to see that.
So your initial clear of the week will guarantee you a red border drop of a weapon that you have not completed all the crafted patterns. So unfortunately, if you haven't got any of these weapons done, it's just going to be a lot. And then after that, there's going to be RNG for that week. So if you have a few of them knocked out, you're definitely in a good space. The next mission is Vox Obscura. It's got a tank section, and it's got the some champions, and it's on a timer too. So this can be difficult on Legendary version 2. So Dead Messenger is going to get a few more perks. Craftable is already craftable. So along with that, you'll go after the seasonal weapons from Season of the Risen, Explosive Personality, Recurrent Impact, Under Your Skin, Sweet Sorrow, Thoughtless, and Peace of Mind. Explosive Personality there is probably my favorite. It's a wave frame solar grenade launcher.
Peace of Mind was very frustrating in PvP.
Yep. I left out one key piece of information. So jumping back to Presage, in order to do that mission, you either must have ownership of Beyond Light or Season of the Haunted. So like next season, say you didn't play Season of the Haunted or haven't purchased Beyond Light yet, your only option is to purchase Beyond Light in order to play that mission. So Vox Obscura, you must own the Witch Queen or have owned Season of the Risen.
And it's so weird how they split those up between all the DLCs.
Yeah.
That way, if you wanted them, you would have to buy them all. This is probably further down, but if you're on PlayStation for the next 6 months, Witch Queen is included in the PlayStation Plus or the PlayStation Plus Plus. You get Witch Queen basically until the next expansion pretty well. So that can save you a little bit of cash to do this if you don't own it already.
The third mission we'll be going into, and that's Seraph's Shield. So that's the Revision 0 Pulse Rifle, and is remain craftable. Maybe some new perks to go after. Weapons would be the Fire and Forget, Tripwire Canary, Disparity, Path of Least Resilience, Judgment of Kelgoroth, Retrofit Escapade, Ding 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 Ding, and then also the Aquilos weapons, the hand cannon, SMG, sniper rifle, and shotgun. Retrofit Escapade. Wonderful, amazing, legendary machine gun. It gets 4 times the charm. And target lock. It is like probably the DPS machine gun right now, I would say. That's a legendary. So as I recall, Seraph Shield is a okay mission. You go up to space, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Fire
and Forget's good. Don't overlook that one. I like Fire and Forget. You can get Chill Clip and something else good on that.
Fire Frigate's fun. But
okay, yeah.
Seraph's shield has that. It happens above Earth, and it has that window that looks out at where the traveler goes.
Mm-hmm. It's still going to be.
No,
it
shouldn't be the new. It shouldn't be the new traveler. It'll be the old one.
Yeah.
It won't be a traveler there.
Yeah, right.
Up in the sky.
So,
and I got excited, but I'm like, no, it's from the past. It's technically still there.
Yeah.
Dang it. That'd be neat though.
And for Seraph Shield, you will have to own the Witch Queen or Season of the Seraph. So if you don't have the Witch Queen yet and you purchase that over Beyond Light, you'll get 2 of the 3 missions. If you're like trying to weigh which one you should buy. DMT used to be a menace, and now it's just probably okay in PvP. So I would value getting Revision Failure and Dead Messenger over getting DMT if you're balling on a budget.
So I just pulled up CD keys. It looks like probably, I would say what would be the best way to do this? You can get the Legacy collection, which has Witch Queen, Shadowkeep, and Beyond Light for $21.19 right now.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So that's probably the best way to do it if you're trying to get by a little cheaper than that. Beyond Light on PC is $9.59, and let's see, Witch Queen looks like anywhere from $12 to $16. So it's not too bad either.
So along with going after these weapons, there will be a weekly challenge, and that's how you get those deep sight weapons to drop. And if you have all the armor and have all the deep sight weapons, you will be getting a world drop, and then this will also be a pinnacle drop. There's one last bonus that you get for doing these exotic missions, and that is the Xenology quest from Xur. That's how you get the exotic ciphers. So if you complete on normal difficulty, you'll be getting 4 points, and if you do it on the legendary difficulty, you will be getting 7 points. And for that quest, you have to get up to 21 points. So doing 3 legendary missions could be very challenging, but also rewarding in the end. Get one of those exotic ciphers. All right, that's it for the exotic mission stuff. So moving forward, age gating changes on all Bungie services. Throughout the world, there's different countries is requiring websites to have people say how old they are and where they're from. So you will be having to do that when you log on to Bungie.net or use any of the third-party apps or Destiny 2 companion app. Like that stuff all feeds back from the origin, which is Bungie.net. So you will have to do that. Cyrus Battleground is back this week. So that's how you get the Braytech Osprey this season, is through the Cyrus Battleground. It is probably the most challenging GM of the season. So make sure you go in there loaded and mic'd up, or people that you can communicate well with. Definitely a challenge there. We did it with 2 Banner Shield Titans and a Warlock. I think that's a pretty smart move. I think you can also maybe get a little more aggressive with some other builds, but that room where you have to go dunk the crystals and the unstoppable champion spawns. That unstoppable champion is priority 1. If he gets up on you, you're gonna die. So just make sure you take an unstoppable out soon. August 22nd, the showcase and season launch of season 22 is just around the corner. So that will be going live on 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern time. Pre-show begins at 8 a.m. an hour before. It's going to be on Twitch. It's going to be on YouTube and TikTok and Bill. Was that Bill Billy? I have not seen what that is, so it's first time seeing that.
I didn't know what it was either.
So I'll be doing a half day work that day, so I'm catching it all live and then waiting in queue for the new season to start. So gotta make sure I gotta plan out what I'm getting for lunch that day. It's gotta be something good, because it's not gonna be sitting there. It's almost just like going to the movie, almost. Just gotta treat yourself that day.
What are you thinking? You thinking like burritos? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking some barbecue right now. So it's what I'm leaning towards.
Man, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah. I just recently discovered corn pudding, and I love corn pudding. So look that up.
Never had it.
Yeah.
Never had it, man.
Yep.
Corn pudding.
Yep. So that's it for the TWID. Had some juice there left after the dev insight with the exotic mission. So that's 2 back-to-back good articles after what they did the week before. So that takes us to 3 likes and 3 dislikes. Me and my like is going to be, I am just mentally took a break from gaming for like at least 6 days. So I turned the PC on to get the rundown going, and I was like, oh no, I don't remember the last time I logged into play. So it's got to be at least 5 or 6 days there. Not playing tonight. I played a little bit of this new game my wife sent me. Palia. It's like this new like massive world RPG game that you can farm and materials. I did that for about 30 minutes today. It's like, okay, I understand why some people don't like this, but it's not going to be for me. So basically it's a big gaming break for me this week.
My like was the way they decided to add those patterns that were unobtainable into the exotic missions. Somebody like me who would never engage in those rotator playlists, that gives me a reason to go back in, because I do need probably 2 or 3, hopefully just a few runs of these things, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
And my like is that my bounty stacking is pretty much done. I just need like the weekly Dreaming City one. That's it. And that ascendant challenge is easy. So it's like 4 minutes per character, and then don't have to play. Obviously have to do some dungeon runs, some solo dungeon runs. But I was going to try to talk Jared into logging in tonight to hit the helm so I can cash some seasonal challenges off of him, and then he can leave. So we'll see if that works out later. But my dislike is that I haven't been playing with the boys. We've been like, it's been quiet.
It's been very quiet. Agreed.
It's been very quiet, and it's definitely needed. It's nice. Like Jared, I was like, man, I haven't turned the computer on in like 2 days. I was like, oh, whatever. I've just been reading or like watching YouTube, just not doing anything, and it's been nice. It's been nice because work's been, like I said, work's been really busy recently. So like I get to just chill out and relax. So it's been a needed break for now, but I get to ruin that on Monday when I get to bang my head against a dungeon wall for as long as I can stand. We'll see how that goes.
My dislike is waiting for the 22nd. Just interested to see. I don't know if Bungie was doing the let's get the bad news or the weak stuff out of the way, like the state of the game. That didn't go over real well. A lot of that was not taken the greatest. So I don't know if they were trying to put the bad news out, take the heat, and then the dead time, and then there's going to be less heat, and then try to rally the troops here. Or if it's really just this is what we have now. So just kind of some anxiousness to see what we're looking at here.
Yeah, coming up with a dislike, it's kind of hard to dislike something that you just haven't put that much time and effort in. And so I've been like looking on Reddit a lot more now than I have in the past. and tried to come up with a new segment, and my dislike is that I haven't put enough thought in to do it. But I basically want to do like the Reddit post of the week or something like that, where we read a Reddit post, and either it's like it stuck to me this week because it was great, or that it was terrible, or like these people just really don't know what they're talking about. It's like probably like the three categories that it will fall into, and I've saved some, but I haven't narrowed it down yet. So probably should have done this a couple weeks ago when content was got really small for and short. But yeah, I got to do better. I get into that.
I like it. I think that's a good idea. The Thursday reading.
Yeah.
All right. No weapons breakdown. There was quick GM notes in the TWID, so it was there. So now Gambling Corner.
Gambling Corner, we literally did not play together whatsoever this week, so we're going to just hold that as well. And I believe that takes us to the war with the chronicler himself, Chadocero.
Oh boy, we had to skip it last time, but more than happy to talk this week. We get to go on to the last thing, which gives us actually more insight into Asa. And I can't believe I totally skipped this completely. But as I'm reading it, I'm like, this is a long, singular piece of lore. So it's from the ghost shell that you get, the Shirhan scuba shell. Asa settled from a long journey within an undersea cavern pocketed by air. Shirhan surveyed the mix of ancient rig foundations and natural stone. It seemed quiet enough, and Sloane needed rest. No hive barnacles grew there. Asa had swam far from the largest concentration of hive and taken it hid away in a cove tucked beneath Golden Age wreckage. Asa filled the yawning space. She slipped through gaps and wrapped herself around plunging stalactites, her serpent worm segmentations gripping the stone, her face half submerged in slick methane liquid. Shirhan floated down from Asa's back and turned to see Sloane slide and crumple to the cave floor as trails of steam seeped from the cracks in the ground beneath her. Sloane closed her eyes. "It's cold here, but the steam, it's warm," she said weakly. The worm coiled a section of her body around Sloane, trapping in the heat around her. Shirhan watched every exchange between the two and drifted out of Sloane's earshot to the worm's gargantuan face. Asa's attention snapped to the blades now protruding from the ghost shell. The ghost got good and close. "I don't know why you helped us. You seem nice. I hope you stay that way. If you're using her, if you turncoat," Shirhan sliced the air, "I'll gut you." Asa's massive eye dialed in on Shirhan's iris. The two stared unblinkingly until the worm's eyelid gently closed. She emitted a tone of contrite harmonic equilibrium. "I am not your enemy." The ghost scanned the worm's face and upon seeing its benign softness, retired to the coiled shelter Asa had woven them. Sloane sat in meditation with an irradiating sense of peace that Shirhan hadn't felt from her in months. The ghost let herself pretend for a moment that even she felt almost safe. It was morning before Sloane woke. Asa met Sloane's eyes through her visor. The tilt of her enormous head signaled a sort of greeting or eagerness. Sloane removed her helmet. "You need something?" "Ayat. Ayat. Asa. Ayat." Sloane stumbled backwards into the cavern wall. Shirhan perked up into the air. "Boss?" Sloane inhaled sharply and dropped to a knee as her ghost swooped in front of her and turned to the creature. Before she could speak, Sloane's hand was on her shell, patting her. "It's fine. It's Asa." "What's an Asa?" Shirhan questioned. "Some kind of proto-worm. Like hive?" Shirhan deployed her blades. "No, the hive were something before they were hive, right? The worm gods were too. Asa is her name, I think." The ghost turned to Sloane, then to Asa. "What does she want?" "To not be alone," Sloane responded. "To be known." Shirhan retreated closer to Sloane and sheathed her blades. Right then. We like big, powerful allies. Let's hear what they have to say. A joyful shiver trundled from Asa's head down through her coiled form, rippling the methane pooled around her, sending tremors through the stone, causing crumbled dust to rain from overhead. Asa turned and focused on the pair. Her massive eyes spanned well beyond Sloane's entire body. The worm's sympathetic iris flexed and shimmered in hypnotic fluctuations, drawing Sloane into a disassociative state. Ayat. Asa. Ayat. Sloane tumbled through timeless alien remembrances. She was shown them, spoke of them as if they were her own. Origins and sorrows she now shared. Witness offers, powerful curse, a lust, masquerading as love. Sloane exhaled hard, but Asa maintained her gaze, and Sloane was swept back into the current. A blade with ambition. I don't understand. Flashes of fratricidal frenzy ensue, a slither mass carnage. Those once ever bonded now drive fang and lash of tail, proclaim deep magics once thought too cruel to utter, all in pursuit of a sacred, gifted logic. Vortexes that drink empty fathoms of encrimsoned fundament see churn above the fray. Asa cannot escape the writhe without unraveling from her captors with violence. She stains her fangs with flesh of siblings turned rivals. Blood betrays blood. To prove strength, survival is pain. Asa flees, familiar aftertaste fresh in her mouth. She would never know love again. This gift sours theirs, makes it vicious and hungry. Rejected logic, hunted as traitor, lost like you. Asa dives into an ascendant dream. Cosmic language bathes her as she ventures, radio songs and magnetic roars that bellow across space. She slips between worlds across great distances, reaches back into space to glide along the curvature of galaxies, chasing a distant point of light, a solar opposite to that which takes love. Sloane gasped for air. She came here for a chance to live. Asa crashes through the Titan's thick skin into its methane sea. The expansion of humanity across Sol unfolds as she mourns. Within a golden age, a bond is found. The collapse found them. A bond is lost. She wages a battle of grief, fights against nightmares of despair. The disciple of fear struck Asa. Shirhan peeked at the title. Lost. Retreating. Love wanes. The ebb and flow of hope. Bonded. We live. So we now have, back then, 100% that Asa is a proto-worm. So before the worms were given what is the sword logic, they looked like Asa, all of them. And there was love. There was family. And once they got the sword logic, they gained power and were killing each other to gain more power. And she ran away because she was like, "No, this ain't it, fam. I'm out. You all are crazy." So, well, very sad. Very, very sad. We could have had a bunch of these things just hanging out. But no, we just had to ruin it.
Yeah, also reminds me of the Force Wells from Star Wars, how they just show up and communicate with you through the Force and stuff. So, too bad it's not more of those.
Is it mailbag time?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to be honest. We're kind of scrambling for mailbag questions. So if you write one in, there's going to be a real good chance it's going to make it on. So just send us on X/Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Question 1. Is the community going to be satisfied with 822, or are they going to be out for blood no matter what? I think it's cool to hate on Bungie right now. So no matter what they do, they're going to be hated on.
Even if it's positive, there'll be a couple streamers that will make it negative within probably a few hours afterwards and just get everybody to jump on board with them. Misery Loves Company.
They're going to zag. They're going to zag on everybody, and I think that's what's going to happen.
It's going to be a whole, they could have done this years ago. They should have done this and that, blah, blah,
That's
blah,
it.
blah. They're proving that they can do it. And it's like, bro, what the heck, man?
$4.3 billion, and we can't get one PvP map. Bunch of bitches. Baby back bitches.
Two maps. They're getting a map. It's going to be, we can't get 2 maps.
Wah. Question 2. Do you understand why Bungie is so worried about killing things in PvE due to it being overpowered in PvP, but otherwise do not seem to care whatsoever about PvP? If you wrote this in, sorry for what we said at the end of the first question. I assume that when they say killing things, I assume they mean like weapons and like armor pieces and things. So do you understand why Bungie is so worried about, let's say, nerfing weapons in PvE due to it being overpowered in PvP, but otherwise do not seem to care whatsoever about PvE? There's just a lot of P's and E's and B's in there. I don't know. I guess I don't hate this game as much as some people do right now, so I don't think I'm gonna say things that people are gonna like to hear. Like, I'm not happy with where things are. It's not how I wish it was, but I guess I'm just old.
Yeah.
So the simple answer is that Bungie don't want people to use the same thing season after season in PvE and in PvP. So whenever something's hot in both PvE or it's like decent in PvP, or like whatever happens and it gets nerfed, the community, half the community plays the other half. So if like something's awesome in PvE and it gets nerfed because it does something weird in PvP, PvE people are up in arms over it. However, it don't matter because it officially needs to get nerfed anyways, because we all can't be using Mountaintop Recluse, whatever, for the entire length of the game.
Take it back.
How dare you?
Take it back.
What Jared and Ryan said.
Question 3. You guys can read that. Should I read that one or not?
Yeah.
How confident are you that the next raid, which I assume would be the reprised raid, is going to be hive-based?
100.
I'm going to say very, very much. So, yeah.
It's like a minus 10,000 favorite. So yeah.
Yeah. What if Bungie came out and said that? So like clearly what they're doing is everything that doesn't come back now, they're gonna have like 9 to 12 months out after the final shape. They're bringing everything back, right? And that's like the one last hurrah.
Yeah, it's gotta be that. Bring back,
Because it's like, yeah, everything that was like sunset, like planet wise, raid wise, strike wise, like run it through the algorithm, run it through the AI algorithm that puts it onto the new, like file save as into the new into the new engine or whatever, and then we get that back. And then the real question is it going to be a free update, or are they going to stick it to us for $40 on the way out?
It'll be a free update, but they're going to put some mad skins in the Eververse.
Oh God!
Just like the like those skins, the ones
The
that
creme de la creme skins.
yeah,
And they're gonna be
Like they're-
2,500 silver.
the cream rises to the top. Like it's just going to be like all the sweet ones. Okay, I will say when I read this question, I thought, damn, that's a good question. I put a lot of thought into this earlier today while driving. Would you rather be able to design your own tattoos and scars for your guardian that appear on their armor, no matter like which armor piece it is? Or would you rather have more accessories available that you can use like to like pimp your character out. And tell us which accessory you would like to have. I thought a lot about this. So I kind of want chains, like gold chains.
Yeah.
And like that's one thing I would like. The other would be like a championship belt, like a wrestling, like a title belt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it would work with the armor, but I was also thinking like a hoop earring, like Michael Jordan used to have.
Yep.
Then I started thinking, what if I could make my shoes look like Jordans? Like, what if they had some sort of thing to where you could choose, like, if you want 1s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 12s. Like, if you want to choose your Jordans out that you want with the different colorways,
Yeah.
like, there's a lot on the table there. New Yeezys come out. You could put those on there. Like, there's a lot of brand deals that they could be going with here. The last thing I thought that I would kind of want, do you guys remember like in the real early 2000s, like the what were they called? Like the puka shell necklaces? Remember those?
Yeah.
I'd like to have one of those to rock a little bit as well. So like I said, thought a good bit about this today.
Oh man, yeah. So I've been watching a lot of like case openings on CS:GO, even though I've never played CS:GO.
Mm-hmm.
So like hunter knife, like you can have like different style knives for the hunter, and like you can and like exactly, and then like Titans could have gloves because they punch everything. Warlocks could have like rings. I feel like a ring on like when they put the hand push out, that they have their rings or stuff like that. So I think that would be really cool.
What if you beat the raid, you could, like, if you beat it in contest mode, you get like a World Series ring.
Yeah.
That would be sweet, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then like some of your emotes, you could like hit a button to like flash your fingers up so you could like see the rings that you had.
Yeah.
So I thought this was a great question. Chad, what about you? You accessory guy, tattoo guy? What are you thinking?
I think tattoos can be abused quite easily if you can design them. There are lots of designs that would immediately happen. So that's a no on that one. As much fun as I would have with it,
it'd be like a treasure chest.
I would have a butterfly tramp stamp right off the rip.
Oh, dude, I would have it. I would also have a tramp stamp. Get what about like the Goldberg barbed wire tattoo?
Yeah.
Like no. See, it would be a butterfly tramp stamp and then a Tyson.
Yeah, just that beer.
But I was thinking,
tramp stamp that says "Eyes Up, Guardian."
My eyes are up here, Guardian.
Oh man, I feel like that would be on the right under the belly on that one.
Yeah.
Let's see, but I was thinking like
Sparrow Garage,
like a sun visor with the ponytail coming out the top. I would enjoy that very much. And probably, since we're going merch, a Barbie shirt. Just
or if you could, I don't know. I think there's a lot there. Do you think that if Bungie, because back whenever this game was being designed and like the engine and stuff, obviously none of this was even, like we didn't even have like an Eververse store for 2 years or whatever into Destiny 1. So if they were going to do this, like if they were to, in Destiny 3, assuming they're using updated version of the engine and it's built with this in mind, do you think that they would start looking for like deal partnerships and things, or do you think the Sony acquisition really limits that a lot? I think of Fortnite, right? So like there's nothing that's too crazy that couldn't be in Fortnite, you know. So, and they've had Thanos in there, you know, they've had Mr. Beast, like, you know, there's been so many things that it would be. I wonder if Bungie sees that as an opportunity in the future, to where there could be more things like that.
Sony has deals with other companies anyway, especially with technology. I think Sony used to be in automotive. I don't know if they're that much anymore, but Sony does more stuff besides media. So I feel like there's a lot of stuff they can get their hands into that can be partnerships like that. Like a Spider-Man branded Jordan. Like that's just something that you can just put it all over Sony games that makes sense. You know, so.
All right. Anything else you guys want to hit on about Destiny? All right. I think that brings us.
Yeah.
Chad, you good?
No, that's it. Yeah.
All right. I think that brings us to the end. I'm the Destiny bad boy, NotRyanFox. Find us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. We're getting close. We're getting close to content and some excitement, and probably hate, and then probably malaise, and then probably excitement, I would say. We're kind of in, as Jared said, the dog days of Destiny right now. So we're almost through the valley. We're almost ready to climb back up. So in the meantime, give us a like, click the bell, turn on notifications, yada yada yada. Let these other guys sign off.
If you want to play fantasy football, hit us up. We're starting to get the names together for that. And then if you're going to be playing on August 22nd, hit me up. I'll be around.
And I think after this podcast, everybody would be happy if you just hit the helm for 5 minutes, just to hit the helm, you know, just make you a little bit more upbeat before you go to bed. Just, you know.
As always, go Cats. Love you guys.